Hey guys, my name is Anna Bruce. Today I'm going to show you how to get your self-portraits in focus. I'm going to go through two different techniques that I like to use in order to get myself in focus. I am a self-portrait photographer and I do have a lot of experience taking pictures of myself. I am going to teach you how to do it so that your pictures are in focus. Alright guys, so now I'm going to go ahead and take you through the equipment that I would use for these two techniques for self-portraiture, starting from your camera. So camera, and you're going to need a tripod to attach your camera to. So I've got my tripod, my camera, the tripod mount down here. The other couple of things that you would need is either an item to be your stand-in, basically your pretend you. I love to use my vacuum cleaner when I'm at home. This is me. If I am out on location, I sometimes will use my camera bag as playing a field where I'm going to be focusing on. I will either use something like a lampshade or my shoes. And very important that I use now is a trigger. Now if you have a trigger, you're not going to need your vacuum and you're not going to need a camera bag to focus. So remember, we're doing two different techniques. If you don't have a trigger, trusty old vacuum cleaner. What I'm going to do to begin with is we're going to do the good old vacuum cleaner technique. So let's go. All right, so first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up my tripod directly in front of me because most of the times that's where I would want to do my portrait. And usually I set it, for me personally, depending on the portrait that you're shooting, kind of around this level for me. I know it's like I'm going down. This level. I'm gonna go ahead and extend it out and usually set it right here, right in front of me. All right guys, so I have set up my camera on a tripod. I have my vacuum cleaner kind of in the general region of where I would be standing. And I'm gonna go ahead and focus on my vacuum cleaner because that's pretend Anna. So I'll move these things out of the way. I'll probably want to stand a little bit far away from the wall. When you do this, kind of line up your toes. Find a point down here to line up your toes. With any point on the vacuum cleaner, this is to ensure the focus, right? So let me go ahead and focus on my vacuum cleaner. And I wanted to show you that because my tripod blocks the view here. All right, so that's basically where I would be standing to take a self-portrait-ish. Probably more like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and focus on the vacuum cleaner. Probably, we'll see what my camera picks up, but somewhere in this general region. I'm gonna go ahead and lock my focus to manual. And this is important because that way it doesn't try to refocus on the wall once I try to take the picture. So here's my vacuum. I'm gonna go ahead and set my camera to timer right here. So it's gonna have the 10-second timer. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do, so I focused right here. So if I want my eyes to be in focus, they have to be pretty much in the same plane as the part that I focused on. That's very important. I'm gonna put my shoes right here to kind of mark that spot. I'll move my vacuum cleaner out of the way. And my settings on my camera for my aperture, which is the most important, is around 4 to 4.5. I'll do anywhere from f4 to about 5.6, 6.3, and that kind of gives me some leeway in my plane of field that's in focus. So I think we're ready to do our first test shot. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button. And I'm lining up with my shoes. All right, first of all, it's too dark. I'm gonna adjust my shutter speed for 1/80th. I'm probably gonna bump up my ISO to about 1000. And I'm gonna try again. So I'm lining up my feet with my shoes. I am partly cut out, which is not good. So I adjusted my lens to go to the widest point it will go. So at 50 millimeters, it is too zoomed in for me. I'm completely cut out. So I'm gonna go ahead and readjust. So I'm gonna refocus because I changed my focal length. I wanna make sure that I am in focus. I'm going to lock the focus again and move my vacuum. and take another picture. I lined up the vacuum cleaner again with my shoes, so I know where to stand. And I'm still too dark, so we need to bump up the ISO. One more time. All right, perfect. So I feel like I'm pretty good. This is a good 3/4 length portrait. And even though it's a little dark, right here where you can see it's a little dark, I can still work with it in Lightroom and Photoshop because it's a raw file. So this is how, and I would go back and forth like this until I got the pose that I wanted just right. So that's how I would do it with an object. I would focus on the object, stand where the object is, turn my focus to manual once it's focused, and then take my shots with the timer. Now this becomes especially cumbersome when you're trying to do something like a levitation shot or you're trying to climb on something to be in your position. So now the other method that I use that is now the one that I've adopted is with my trigger. My camera does not come with a trigger because it's very old. So I bought one on Amazon and it is the Freewave Micro from Velo, and this little device right here goes into my camera. I'm gonna put it in my camera and I'll show you where it goes here in just a second. It'll go into one of the ports of your camera right here, so this is where it goes in mine. You need to make sure that you set the channel on the actual receiver to the same as it is on the remote control so that it'll talk to your camera. So this is where mine goes. And I'll show you how to take one with the trigger now. So the difference now is that instead of focusing down here where the vacuum cleaner was, I'm gonna go ahead and focus closer to where my face would probably be. So I might tilt this a little further down based on the other picture to get maybe more of my body. I think my face would probably be around there. And so this is where we're just gonna go ahead and find out. I usually set my focus on I have a Nikon D700 and I set my focus to single, and here's why. See how like occasionally you'll hear the did-it? That's why. So when it doesn't do the did-it, then I know that it's not really focusing on me. It just can't find the focus. So let's try this again. Do you hear it? Okay, so here's my test shot. And I go and I check it in my camera and I try to zoom in. And to me, it looks pretty in focus. This is pretty good. So it means that I nailed the focus. I'm gonna go ahead and lock it to manual, and I'm gonna switch the settings on my camera to timer. And the reason why I like to do timer is because I'll hit this, I'll throw my remote or set it aside, and I'll jump into position. This is important. So your plane of focus is probably like here-ish, right? And so like if your face falls too far back, it's gonna be out of focus. If you're too far forward, you're gonna be out of focus. So you need to kind of remember that you have a certain amount of distance of which your face will be in focus. So if you're standing right here and this is where you focused, you don't want to throw yourself too far back because then the chest will be in focus and whatever is behind will fall out of focus. Let's do it one more time. And then what I'll do is I'll always check my pose. Do I like it? Do I like the way that I look? And I'll make any changes. And since my focus is already locked, I can take the rest of my pictures. So I'll go ahead and get rid of the timer and I'll just move it to just regular shooting, like high speed shooting, and I'll stand where I was. And this is usually where I do my dress flips. So I'll just go like, I have my trigger. And I'll usually just do this. And that'll be all in the same plane of focus that I shot it in. These are the two methods that I use to shoot self-portraits so that they can be in focus. If you guys have any questions or you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep bringing you more content on how to take the best pictures that you possibly can. My name is Anna, I am a self-portrait photographer, and I'll see you guys next time.